Yeah, welcome to the Community Hotline. I'm Mr. Bob Fang, for the community, by the community, and today we got Felisha in the house. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Felisha, and I am an actress in Los Angeles, California, and all-around good person. Can I get some props for that? Throw it up for just being a decent human being.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Tell us, let's get right into the heavy topics. What are three defining moments in your life, and how do they impact you?
Oof. Do we got to keep this positive?
You can keep it however you want. Just be transparent with the kids, you know.
Okay. Three defining moments. Okay, the first one's gonna be heavy. My father passed away when I was 16. I left my hometown of North Carolina, well, in North Carolina, when I was 21, moved out to across the country with me and Jesus, and that's what I had to pursue my dreams. And I've actually been homeless before.
Okay. Can we can we elaborate on the first one of your, and then we'll move on to the other two as well. Can you tell us the story, like of how your dad passed? You know, what you were going through, how it impacted you.
Yeah. So my dad sustained an enclosed brain injury when I was 12 weeks old. So I was only 3 months, and he was paralyzed my entire life. He could talk and communicate and all that kind of stuff, but he couldn't use his legs. My dad's always been in a wheelchair. And after a bunch of surgeries and everything that he could do, rehab, my dad was still as active as he could be. He was. He was always a dreamer. He was always a fighter. He was always encouraging. He was a military man. So grew up in a strict household, but in a good way. It wasn't like a tyrant. We were just taught manners. We were taught dignity. We were taught respect. We were taught, me and my sister were taught to stand up for ourselves and be kind, all that good stuff. And then after 16 years of such a toll on your body, the good Lord called him home.
Okay. And how did that impact you?
Oh, I'm a natural born daddy's girl. So I still miss my dad every single day. And sometimes I still cry. Sometimes I'll see other kids like with their dads, or like my friends who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to hang out with my dad. I'm talking to my dad, and my heart will get a little sad. I'm like, wow, you're so lucky. Like, I don't even know what that would look like. I just had, my dreams and my memories and stuff. So that's something that I always encourage people to make the most of the time of the ones that you have, especially if they're good people in your life. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't say that for everybody. Just because they're your parent don't mean they're the cat's meow. But if they are, don't take it for granted, or don't act like, oh, there's always tomorrow. Because hopefully there is. Sometimes there's not. But I feel like I've always got motivation to be this superstar, and whatever that means in the world. Doesn't have to be in front of a camera, just a light in someone's life, because he always encouraged me to be such. He always encouraged me to think highly of myself. He always encouraged me to keep going forward. So even when I want to quit, even when I want to stop, his memory is so strong that it keeps me persevering. So it's like he's always with me, even though he's not physically here. I never want to let him down. He is this driving and motivating force in me that I just always want to make him proud. Hope I'm making him laugh in heaven.
I love that. I love that. Okay. And then your second defining moment, you was coming to LA, right?
Yeah. I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream and a cardigan. And yeah, I grew up in North Carolina. That was my entire life. And people in North Carolina don't leave. It's kind of similar to LA. Like if you're in Angelino, I don't get it, but these people act like they can never see another part of the sun, another part of the world, because it's not California. And I'm like, hey, I've traveled. There's great places too besides just California. It's a little culty. But yeah, everything that I knew and that I grew up with, I didn't just all of a sudden one day not want it. This was always my dream. But when you're from a small town, people they think like, oh, you're never going to get out of here. Oh, you'll come back. Not this one. Have you met me? If I'm leaving, I'm leaving. I'm gone. Bye. I'll come back. I can travel. There's airplanes. I don't know if you know. But Yeah, I guess to leave everything that you know and you grew up in to go to someplace new. I will give it to people who they're like, this is scary. I don't know what I'm doing. I hope nobody's mad at me for that. I never felt that. I was never afraid. I knew I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I was starting in a new place. All of that was there. It just wasn't enough to scare me to not come out. So
Got
that,
it.
I guess that taught, as a young lady, I guess that taught me what I was made of and how to keep myself safe, how to just, I was raised really well on how to be smart. And I was able to take that everywhere with me.
Okay. Are you you just have one sibling, just a sister, or?
No, I have two. I have my older sister, Paris, and then I have my younger brother. Paris and I are only 2 years apart, and my younger brother, he's way younger than us. They're 15 years apart, and me and my brother are 13 years apart.
Okay, got it. So you're kind of like the youngest slash middle child.
Yeah, which is so weird because they both have their individual places in their own right. She's the firstborn, and he's the only boy. So a lot of times he'll act like he's my big brother. So I'm like, so I'm just still a little sister.
Got it. Got it. I like that. Okay. And then the last defining moment was that you were homeless.
Yeah.
What's the
So
story?
I was working, and I came home one day to my apartment after like a 14-hour day, and the light fixture above, like right above my front door, was running water. You heard that right, was running water. And I was like, okay, this isn't good. And so I called my apartment manager, and he was like, oh no, this isn't good. This isn't good. Is there some place like you can stay at like for the weekend? Because we got to get this fixed. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I stayed with my best friend for a weekend. And then a weekend turned into a week, which turned into 2 weeks, which turned into a month, which turned into 2 months. But I couldn't just stay at her place. So I had to, like, day by day, I was like, hey, can I stay on anybody's couch? I had nothing but like me in a book bag. And anybody who would let me stay for a night, a couple nights. I had one friend who let me stay for 10 days. She already had a roommate, but she was a godsend. One night I couldn't find anybody, so I had to sleep in my car
Oh man. Oh,
until
man.
because her roommate was out of town. She was working incredibly late, and she didn't get. And there was nobody. I had nowhere else to go, so I slept in my car because I had no keys to be like, okay, I'm going home. I didn't have any.
Right, right. That's crazy. And what happened to all your furniture? What happened in that situation? Did you?
Well, it wasn't just the light fixture. The light fixture flooded, and the bathtub flooded, and the sink was flooding because apparently someone did some pipe work, and it had like a reverse effect from like one of the, because I was on the bottom floor unit. So it's like the unit above me or something. Whenever they would like flush their toilet or run water or something, it would run down the pipes, but then come up in mine. And my bed was ruined. The floor was ruined because everything that got wet on the carpet. The people who were coming in supposed to fix it took the wet clothes. I had just done laundry. So there's like laundry baskets, my guitar, everything that's like got water soaked on it. They put it on my bed. Yeah. See, everybody has that same face. They're like, what? Yeah, to move it out of the way, they decided to put it on my bed. So now there's moldy water on my mattress, which now molded my mattress.
Sounds like a typical LA story.
I lived in the ghetto and that didn't even happen.
Okay, okay. I like it. I feel like
You
all
only
these
gave me three. I was like, and those are the first three that came to my mind. And I was like, I've got better ones, but those are
no,
the first.
these are good. Let's go into the first topic of the day. I like it. It was a good starting point. I'll go back to it as well. But let's start
Okay.
with love. Speaking of love, and then speaking of loss, I speak to a lot of kids who also have lost a parent at a very young age. Some of them even have to become a breadwinner. 16, they have to go start, working just to provide for their family. What are like, two pieces of advice that you'd give them to like, get through it? People going through the same situation. They lost a parent in high school.
Yeah. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to fill their shoes, because that's not entirely your responsibility just yet. I think it's wonderful that they want to go out and get a job and take care of their family, but that mental pressure on you can do more damage than it does good. So I think whatever family you do have, come together and work as a unit rather than you feeling like you got to take on the father role all on you when you're nowhere near being a father, or the mother role all on you when you're nowhere near being a mother. So I think the best thing you can do is, yeah, try to be there for your family, but don't weigh that burden on just yourself. And if you feel overwhelmed, talk to the people that are still there for you. Talk to them and say, hey, I really want to step up because, mom isn't here, because auntie isn't here, because grandma isn't here, but this is weighing on me. I am still just a kid. I'm just 16, or I'm only 10, and I feel like I have these responsibilities. And I want to know that it's okay that I feel like this is more than I can take on. Like, I don't want to stop helping the family, but I want to know that it's okay that I feel overwhelmed, because the person that we lost, they never seemed overwhelmed.
Got it.
So
Got it.
that would be a piece of advice. And secondly, don't forget your age. Don't try to grow up too fast, regardless of the circumstance, because there's a lot of beauty that comes from being able to still enjoy your life, even though what has come at you is really, really extraordinarily difficult and hard. You're still just 16. You're still 15. It's okay to want to go to the dance. It's okay to want to have your first kiss. It's okay to want to go skateboarding with your friends or eat Malaysian food, whatever you want to do. It's okay to want to hang out with your friends and just, clock out from having to pick up where someone else is missing in your life, because I've seen I've heard of a lot of kids who take on that story, and by the time they're an adult, it's like they're already like semi an adult. They're already worn out. And we're like, how? You're 21. Like, you should be. I'm kind of an idiot right now. You seem like you just like raised this family. Like, well, I kind of did, and it makes you wonder. Like, well, then who was there to take the burden off of you sometimes? Because mom and dad have each other. If you're gonna take on that role, you've got to have a partner. So that would be my advice. Community is really good, and if you can't find it in your home, find it in your friends.
I love that. And some personal stories from you in terms of how you dealt with it.
Yeah, I read my Bible a lot. I'm a Christian, and even though it was hard, there are times I wanted to throw that thing. So I was like, this is not giving me the answers. Lord, this is what you got. This is all you got. This book. And I read my Bible a lot. I cried a lot. I felt every emotion that I was feeling. I didn't shut anything out. I didn't try to pretend like, oh yeah, everything's all good, because things weren't all good. And I'm still this way to this day. I'm always completely honest with myself, good, bad, and ugly. And I don't think that that's said a lot. I don't think it's really encouraged to, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be broken about this. And there's a quote from The Revenant that I love. And my dad never said this, but he always had this spirit. And Leonardo DiCaprio's character says, as long as you can kick and breathe, you fight. And that's what I did. I could move and I could breathe, so I had to keep going. And even if I don't remember, there's a lot of that year the first year that I simply don't remember, because my body was just in survival mode. So it's like kind of like it blacked it out. I have like 4 memories, I think, from an entire year where everything else, I'm like, it's just blank in my mind. But I was still going. I was still moving forward, even though I didn't know how. And I think it's okay to embrace those feelings. I went to church. I did a testimony. I talked about it. I talked to people about it. I cried whenever I felt like crying, whether it was appropriate or the time or the place or whatever or not. I didn't care. And thankfully nobody was like judging me for that or making me feel condemned. That's like, we're in this place, you shouldn't be crying. Okay, you have what happened to me happen to you, and then tell me what's appropriate. And and yeah, I can't stress this enough. Your feelings are valid. And if you're watching something that normally makes you happy, and all of a sudden there's waterworks, let them fall. Let them freaking fall, because the worst, you're gonna do more damage by bottling it up and acting like it's not there. Because your feelings do not need or care about your permission. I'll tell you that much.
I agree with that. Okay. What is love?
$1 million question. What is love?
What is love?
What is love? Oh, are we talking like romantic? Are we talking about family? What are we talking?
How you want to define it? However you want to take it.
Okay. I'm trying to feel like I want to define it in a way that's universal.
No, be true to you. Be true to you. Whatever first thought came first. This is about you.
But I like things that are universal because I like for people to apply them, not like a blanket statement, but for people to be able to apply them in all aspects. I don't want to tell you like how to love your mother, but that doesn't apply to like your girlfriend or something, you know? So I try to find something that could be used in all platforms.
Okay.
I think love is wanting somebody, choosing somebody, not just, hey, I got stuck with you. I think love, okay, this is popping in my head, so it's got to be something true. I think love is intentionally either trying to find out or just straight up knowing the ugly about somebody, the undesirables, even things they don't like about themselves. And you say, I still pick you. I know all that stuff. And yeah, it drives me crazy like it drives you crazy. Doesn't matter. I still pick you because I love you. You don't have to be perfect. If you were perfect, I think you're a little weird. I choose you, flaws and all. And we work on them together. I think that's love. I think love is wanting to be a teammate with somebody, regardless of who they are in your family, wanting to work together. I think that's love. I think that creates a bond. I think that's the most important thing. Choosing somebody and saying, hey, we're on this team. You pass me the ball, I'll shoot. I pass you the ball, you shoot, and we win.
I love that answer. Who was your first love?
My first love, I got lucky. He was my first boyfriend. And, no, not my first boyfriend. My first boyfriend, I was like 14. Does that count? That's like 5 days. When I was 18, my first, like, I guess, adult relationship. This guy named Lewis. And he was a dream. He was just so funny, so nice, so sweet. We were always very supportive of each other. I'm headstrong. He's headstrong. We like butt heads, but we didn't like make each other feel bad for that. And we were just sweet to each other. We always just liked to be sweet and nice to each other. And we didn't even break up for any bad reason, except for to your point, he's Puerto Rican. His parents were immigrants. So their English wasn't so good. And they speak Spanish and everything. Their whole family is my best friend's older brother, actually. And so at a very young age, because his parents would have a hard time finding work because they didn't speak much English, he got a job. And that's just kind of like the routine that he got into when he was 16. And he couldn't bear to, as a grown man still, couldn't bear to like take that providing away from them. And I was like, I want to go to LA. We planned on going to LA. Maddie and Will are grown. Like I'm not trying to tell you to abandon your family, but I'm still going after my dream. You realize that. And then when it came down to it, he just chickened out and he couldn't. He was like, I can't go. And it's like, okay, I'll come out later. And he never came out. So he's still there and I'm here. And that's it. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about him.
Okay. What was I think that's an important key when you mentioned that you guys are just really nice to each other. What was like, do you have a personal story about like, something, the nicest or like a nice thing that he did or something nice that you did?
Yeah. So this is one thing that always stands out to me. He was always a great provider, but he worked at a credit union and his family was going through financial troubles and he needed more money. He didn't have enough money. And I was working as a waitress. And there was one specific month, it might have gone on for a few more months, but he was like, I don't know how we're going to pay rent. I can't, like, even though we're not paying that much, even my half, I need to give to my family. And he was so stressed out at how I was going to do both things. I was like, hey, how about this? How about I take care of all the rent and stuff this month? I'll pull double shifts because you could do that back in North Carolina. I'll pull double shifts at the restaurant, which I mostly did anyway because I was saving up money to move out here. So any shift anybody wanted to give away, except for like a Sunday, they knew Felisha would take it. I was the go-to girl. And he was like, oh, sweet, I can't let you do that. And I was like, hey, we're in this together. You would do the same thing for me. So you're trying to take care of us and your family. Do what you got to do for your family. I'll take care of us in our household. And we'll have the bills paid. We'll have food. We'll have everything that we need. And as a man, it's kind of hard for him to agree to that. But I'm like, is it me and you or is it not? So then he was very grateful and very thankful. And that's what we did. Okay. And then for him, I signed up for a beauty pageant. Well, is that the story I want to tell? No, I got a better one for you. He did an incredible thing to get me that pageant. I'm not a pageant girl. I only did it because my sister went as a pageant and she won. And she was Miss Fayetteville 2004, I think, or something. She went to the Virgin Islands and competed, became the runner-up. She's really good with words and she's beautiful, so she won. And I wanted to be like her. I'm not a pageant girl. She's not either. She just wins everything. But I got an audition for High School Musical 3 when I was in North Carolina. And the auditions were in Utah. I didn't have enough money to get to Utah. And for the flight, it was like flight round trip and all this kind of stuff for like a last minute flight was like $800. And I was like, I do not have $800. And he just booked my flight right then and there. And I was like, sweetie, you don't have $800. Like, I took it out of my savings. I was like, you can't do that. It's like, this is your dream. I want you to go for it. So
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So what? So I obviously I didn't make it into the movie, but the fact that he believed in me enough and wanted me to go after my dream, that he just pulled it from his savings to send me. So I thought that was really sweet.
Okay. And then just finishing up on love, you mentioned your sister a little bit. I have a lot of friends who have sisters. What's your relationship like with your sister? Are you guys fighting? Is it always like super cool? Or,
It's me and my sister are cool. We still fight like siblings. We still fight and laugh. Paris will make me laugh until her name's Paris. She'll make me laugh until I'm crying. But that sibling, you get on my nerves, like you get on my nerves, like you shut up, Mom. We have not gotten that. The only thing now that's different is that we drink wine afterwards. It lasts for like 15 minutes, and then we drink wine, and then we go have karaoke. But of course, my mom is just like still talking, like Ma, Paris is, baby, I'll be right there. So, girl, what were you saying? She don't care anymore. Like when we were kids, she would do something, and now she's like, okay, I'm coming. They're fine. You're useless, mother. You had one job, which is to kick her ass.
I love that. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is education. Tell us, who were you in high school?
I was the loud theater geek who was good at math.
Okay.
People keep thinking I was like this prom queen, and I was like, no, never.
Okay. Can you what was your high school like? Elaborate a little bit more. Paint the picture. Was it a big school, small school?
It was a big school. It was a good. A lot of people say it was a black school. I mean, there was a lot of black students, but there was a lot of white students. There was a healthy amount of Hispanic students. There were Asian students. I mean, there were like percentages, but it wasn't like 90% black and like 10% Latino and then like 28%. It wasn't like that drastic of a difference. So I think it was a good melting pot of a school. I think it was heavier on black students, but it wasn't like, I never went to a classroom where it was like nothing but black students. That was never a case. It wasn't like that much of any group.
Okay. What was it like growing up in North Carolina?
It was fun. It was kind of like the movies. Like when people say, "Oh, you're from the South," and it looks like just like a sweet, nice area. It's like that. It's not. It's not the Duggars from 19 and Counting. It's not like crazy like that. But yeah, it's you get on the school bus, you go to school. Sometimes there'd be a fight. And fighting over lockers, like two boys are like trying to kill each other over some sneakers, or someone said something about someone's girlfriend, and that would like scare the crap out of me. Imagine that being the scariest thing with with what we live in the world today. Like I was trying to get to homeroom when they're like beating the crap out of each other. But that was in the 4 years I went to high school. I think I saw that twice. So yeah, it was pretty safe. The way I worry about students in schools today was not even a thought back when I was in high school. And I haven't been out of high school that long.
Yeah, it's pretty wild what's going on right now. What would in terms of education then? What are some like, I guess, educational tips, life tips for kids who want to move to LA? Top 3 life tips.
Top 3 life tips for like specifically want to move to LA or just all around?
I would say specifically to LA. Wanting to chase out your dream, like how you did it. How much money to save, should they get a job? What's the step by
Yeah.
step?
Yes. I came out here with a little over 5 grand, which to me, that was a lot of money. It was enough to get me out here and keep me sustained to look for a job immediately, though. That way, it wasn't like, okay, if I don't have a job tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I think it gave me like enough time to have like, if it took me a month to get a job, that was enough for like moving out here and what I saved and stuff. But if you hit the ground running and hustling, like I need to be on someone's payroll and then just take it step by step from there, I think that's plenty. Probably gonna want more by now, maybe around like 7 grand. But
Mm.
it is doable. You don't need $1 million to move to Los Angeles. You gotta be willing to hustle and work, and especially a lot of odd jobs, but you get great stories out of those. I have been a cater waitress. I have been characters at kids' birthday parties. I've been a regular waitress. I have been paid just for being a tall model and pretty, and they pay me good money just to stand at somebody's rich mansion and look like, oh my God, how do you have all this money? And you get some really fun, cool stories out of it.
Right.
Say again?
No, I say what about someone that wants to break into the industry on the front end side, the acting side? What are some things to be aware of?
Yeah, I'm gonna myth bust something real quick. You can do absolutely nothing with a theater degree. I'm very sorry to break it to y'all. The theater degree will not help you achieve anything except for you can say, I got a lot of debt for this piece of paper. It's just it's not gonna do what the classic people think it will do. I don't know why anyone still gets one unless you want to be a theater teacher. But I would say find out. First of all, here's free. Go to YouTube, and the Hollywood Reporter does a lot of roundtables with the famous of the famous actors, and they get real. They get to the nitty gritty of what it takes to be an actor. That counts as research. I would look those up. I would watch whoever you think is funny. Just type in their name. I would listen to motivational speeches from actors that you like. I would just YouTube anything you're interested in. Look up actors' audition tapes. There are some that are out there from famous actors and how they audition tape and do stuff like that. And I would see what actors that are your favorite, the ones that you, not just your favorite, the ones you connect to. Because sometimes people's favorite actor, y'all didn't cut from the same cloth. You don't share the same soil. You can admire them and they admire you, but if you got to know who you connect. From my opinion, whoever you see on TV, you're like that is exactly what I was thinking too. That's my exact reaction. Those actors that you like, find out where they studied, or through the grapevine, and see what school here teaches that. I mean, I went to Playhouse West. It's a phenomenal school, but there's all sorts of studio schools that you can learn and teach from, and that'll teach character work. I would say get into improv. And these aren't universities, they're trade schools. They're little in community theaters, and you can put up shows, you put up scenes, and you really get to work on your craft, and it's a good playground to be in. So that's the best thing I would do, is to find an acting school in Los Angeles that you want to study at, look up how much it costs, and create yourself a little budget and a little plan as if you already live here. And then get, I would say, at least like a month or two of that financially under your belt. Still living the dream, have your vision board, write everything down, because once you write it down, the visual of it makes it come alive. That's like a biblical thing, and it's like, I think, scientifically proven as well, that once you see it visually, it helps it. I don't know. But I
Right.
do that. I do that, and it keeps the inspiration and keeps the flow. So yeah, be in acting school, be in acting classes. If you're into comedy, join improv. If you're not really into comedy, you want to be a Daniel Day-Lewis type and a big dramatic actor, then study dramatic pieces. But don't limit yourself as well. Start with what you know and what you feel comfortable with. Find an acting school that tailors to that, you think, or would be a healthy environment. And you might try out a bunch. It's okay if you try out a bunch. Not everyone is for everybody. And then go from there. But you don't need a college degree for these things. So I would say don't. Not that I'm trying to discourage college. If you want to be an engineer, go to college. If you want to be a doctor, go to college. If you want to play one on TV, you don't need to go to college.
Love that. Love that. What about kind of let's move in, kind of transition to the money topic, which kind of still correlates. A lot of people when they go into to LA for the first time, and you know they're just like, I need an agent, I need a manager, I need this, I need to spend money on a reel, I need to spend money on, you know, headshots, and I spend all this money. What do they really need? You know, what do they actually need to get
You
started?
you really do need headshots. That's number one. But I promise you, you do not. And I've gone from everywhere in the spectrum. I've had free headshots to headshots that cost my rent and everything in between. You can find decent, good headshots, or if someone's having a deal or something, for a much less than you think. For it'd probably be a couple $100, but that couple $100, if it just takes one right shot, you can it can get you on a job or something. Or truth be told, I've known people who do this. If you have a Samsung camera, the camera quality in a Samsung is so good, you can finagle your own headshots and get it up on the websites and send it in. All they care about is the picture. They don't care what money you spent. It really doesn't matter as long as it looks good and it's clear and you look at what headshots look like. If all you have is like, all I got is my cell phone, I can't even afford $100 right now for headshots. You got a Samsung? Alrighty. Set it up the way you need to, look good, look debonair, however you want to. Take one of you laughing, take one of you serious, whatever show you want to be on. Snap 3 photos, put them on the website, call it a day. And so you definitely need headshots. An agent or manager is useful. If you're first moving out here, you can still find work completely unrepresented. It's going to be probably short films, student films. If you like the project enough and are willing to work for free, you can do that. But also, without a recommendation, any agent or manager is going to want to know that you are a working actor. Now, that doesn't mean you were on Fox or CBS or anything. Like, I've done 5 shorts. I did this theater play. I'm trained at this school. That's stuff that they care about. It shows that you're a working actor. It shows that you can be trusted on a set. It shows that you care about this. And if they're like, you have a great look and I can help you get to the next level. There's so much you can do on your own before you're like, oh my God, I need an agent. Oh my God, I need a manager. It's great to have those things, but don't put all your desperation on those because they will come.
Got it. And then, do you think you have to like, is it a pay to play town? You know, like, do you have to pay for a subscription to like submit yourself, or do you think you can just do it, you know, for free? Or
You do, but there's like 2 main ones that it's recommended that we're all on, and they're actually really helpful. I've booked, especially during COVID or after COVID, I've like paid my rent on some of these jobs. There's LA Casting and Actors Access, and they have everything from music videos to commercial. Actor Access is for films and television stuff. LA Casting, they'll look for models for commercials. They'll look for people for short films. They'll look for models for like clothing. They'll look for background on some big commercial, but they'll pay, you know, X amount of hundreds of dollars to be in the background. Or if you want to be the leading person or something and you audition, and if you get the job, they'll like, hey, yeah, be on set. Here's the call sheet, do all that kind of stuff. So those things you can self-submit for. And LA Casting is about $25 a month, and it usually rolls over on its own, but you get to free submit all day, every day. So for $25 a month, if you wanted to submit yourself for 100 projects that you fit for, you can. And then you'll make back that, I guarantee you'll make back $25.
got it.
Actors Access is a little pricier, but it's worth it if you want to get more into film. So I think betwixt the 2 of those, Actors Access is like $75, but that's for a year subscription. And then LA Casting is $25 a month.
Got it.
So whatever that evens out to. But yeah, then there's just unlimited submitting and for jobs that you want to get paid for.
Okay.
And here's a fun fact for people, if they don't tell you this, I've tried this myself. If you're like, okay, I can only afford to pick between submitting online for actual jobs and studying, then turn your laptop or YouTube into your classroom. There are plenty of actors workshops, actors things you can try, scripts you can look up to try to like find scripts online, play them out as if you're auditioning for the scene, and give it a try.
Got it. I love that too. I love that. Such detailed strategies. I love it. Okay, what is
the hustler?
What is money?
What is money?
What is money?
Is that the question?
Yeah, what is money?
Money is a trick by the man to try to keep us down. I do believe that, but I'm gonna give you more than that. Money is simply sustenance. It does not amount to your worth. It is an annoying piece of garbage, but it's to keep a safe roof over your head and to supply yourself with food and shelter. And it's a process of trading, because that's all. One of the best tips of advice I've ever got about money stress is that money, all it ever does is exchange hands. People are like, oh my God, money's gone. No, it's not gone. It's just being traded in other avenues. It will come back to you. If you do the work to have it come back to you, it will come back to you. There are going to be hard times, but they're not going to last. The money has to trade hands. That's how it stays in flow. So if you can wrap your head around that, I think that's a good concept for when you feel like things are strapped or things are tight. You're just waiting for your trade to come back around. So you're on that website. Let me try to hustle to see if I can get somebody to trade me some money tomorrow in the background of this Volkswagen commercial. Anything like that. So it's a means to the next step. And fun in life. I mean, you can travel with it. You can do a lot of stuff, but it's not. I can tell you more about what money's not than what it is.
What is money not? Personal story. Personal story.
Money is not the defining factor of your worth.
When did you realize? How did you realize that?
When I had none and I still liked me.
Okay. Is there a story behind that of when that happened?
Lots of stories. I've been without money a lot of times, but I was like, do I have a roof? Okay, so I don't have any money in my account, or not that I have none, but what I should have, I don't have. I'm worried. I am stressed. I'm all this kind of stuff, but I am protected. I am provided for. I am safe. I am capable. I am loved. I have too much good to offer this world for money to not eventually find its way back to me. And then I've had a bunch of money before and I still liked me. So having a bunch of money, I was like, great, I'm on top of the world. And I kind of got this financial freedom. And then when that was gone and I still feel like I liked me, that's when I was like, huh, why was it peddled as if it means something about me? It doesn't.
That's awesome. Well, has your understanding of money changed from when you were in high school compared to now?
Yes. I think like most of us, but especially in the South, we're all raised to be like worker bees. They really teach entrepreneurship in school. Weird. And we're starting to catch on to that. But yeah, when I was in, like anybody else, when I was in high school, I thought your whole life is working. And that's all it is. Life is never going to be worth anything unless you're working. We were not built to just work our lives away. And I've had some of the funnest times in my life being dead broke. I had one of the best times in my life being homeless, and decided to spend money that I did not need to be spending to go with one of my best friends who's gay to Disneyland. I technically had the money, but it did not need to be blown at Disney, but I did it anyway. And it's one of the best times I've ever had in my life. One of the best memories we got out of that. I wouldn't trade that for all the money in the world. And that's one of the moments that said to me, like, yeah, this money doesn't define me. We used to work so hard in high school and think, oh, we got to get a job and it's got to be a good paying job. And all I ever saw was like suit and tie corporate crap or waitress. And then when those options weren't feasible towards my dream, my approach to money changed. So that I think that's like where my mind, it went from, okay, you need money to be happy and have a job and have a life. No, if you are happy and have a life, you'll get a job and money will come.
Wise words. Wise words from Felisha.
It doesn't come to a dead fish, does it?
Hey, before we wrap up, any last words for the people listening? Last 2 pieces of life advice. Anything you want to say?
I hope I didn't talk too fast. I am a natural fast talker. I hope y'all feel inspired and feel like you got a good sense of it's okay to be okay. It's okay not to be okay at times. It's okay to feel on top of the world. It is more than okay to be happy, regardless of what anybody says or what's happening or the crap that life will try to tell you. It is perfectly fine and beautiful to be happy. And just be a good person. If you're hurting, if you're down, talk to someone. Don't just take it into your own hands. Don't try not to react irrationally. If there's something going on with your mental health is important. Talk to someone, even if it's just to get it off your chest. It doesn't have to be a therapist, just a listening ear. Who cares? Do it. If you want to go for a hike or a run, do it. If you want to swim in the ocean, go swim in the ocean. If you're in your church clothes, well, I guess those are about to get wet. Live life to your fullest with spreading joy and love and happiness, and make stories of your own so that way you can be in my seat and advising someone else on how, yeah, I heard this one random loud girl on this podcast one time, and I just thought she was cool. And so it started to make me think about what are the memories that I want to pass on to someone else, or the ways I want to help other people, being the living example of how you can get out of this sticky situation. Or what if I was in this situation? How would I get out of it? To always look for the fun, healthy adventure in life. I guess that would be my last 2 cents. And love with all your heart. You can never love too hard.
Okay, guys, love with all your heart. I love that. Where can people find you? Is it Felisha Cooper?
You can find me on the gram at Felisha Cooper. And it's spelled like this. It's not Felicia. That's gross. It's SHA at the end. And it's just Felisha Cooper. It's just my name.
Right here. I'll just put it. That's really cool that you were able to find that on IG. No one took it from you.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys. Before I forget, as Felisha mentioned, if you guys are going through something and you do need someone to talk to, there is a free crisis hotline. You can just text home to 741-741. That is a real number, guys. Somebody will respond and talk to you if you're having dark thoughts. Other than that, if you're interested in joining the community hotline and sharing your personal experiences, feel free to send me a DM at Ninja X Bang. All right, guys. See you later.
Peace. Thank you.